Hi, and welcome back to Sweet Precision with me, Benjamin Bishop, pastry chef. Today we're going to be making one of my childhood recipes that I grew up with. I thought this was the most fantastic thing. It's a dark chocolate hot fudge pudding cake. It's simple, but it's done in a way that not everything is mixed. You actually pour water on top and it makes its own hot fudge. So it's kind of endearing to me, and that's what this show is all about. I want to bring simplistic things that you can make at home, but then make it into something extraordinary for your guests. So let's just get started here. All right, so the first step is we're going to make a crumb topping. It's really simple. It's brown sugar, white sugar, and cocoa. So we're going to be mixing these things together, and we're going to be setting that aside. Very, very simple. This is something that I made when I was really young. My parents were very generous to let me go in the kitchen and experiment. And this was a recipe that I found in a cookbook a long time ago and brought it to some of the restaurants that I used to work at. It's nostalgic for me, but a lot of people remember this when they were a kid as well. In fact, I asked one of the chefs that I got to shadow when I was a kid. They took me, my grandmother set up a meeting with an executive pastry chef at a very large hotel close by to me, and he was very fascinated in the way that this worked. I think he was just kind of playing around with me because he knew exactly how it worked, but it was fantastic to actually talk to somebody the first time, and that's what got me interested in being a pastry chef. So that's the crumb topping. It's just brown sugar, cocoa, and regular sugar. I'm going to set that aside for now, and we're going to work on the batter for this. And again, it's a very simple batter. It's just consisting of regular white sugar, some melted butter, all-purpose flour, milk, cocoa, a little bit of salt, and some baking powder. And then on top of that, we're going to be using hot water to pour over top. So into my mixer, I'm going to do some sugar. We'll do the melted butter. And we'll mix that together briefly, just to get it combined. That's it. And then to the flour, I'm going to add my dry ingredients of cocoa, the baking powder, and the salt. Here I'm just using a regular table salt instead of kosher or a sea salt, just to bring out the flavors a little bit more. All right, so that mix is going to be put together. Bring this on a low speed, just until it combines to come together. And while that's going, we're going to just slowly pour in our whole milk. I prefer using whole milk in this situation because it gives a little bit extra fat, which will give some creaminess to the sauce that's going to be eventually made. And it's as simple as that. We'll be right back. Okay, so our batter has mixed up. Extremely simple. I would suggest if you're watching with children right now that this be one of the things that they make, because I was about, gosh, maybe 6 or 7 when I did this recipe, and I love chocolate. It was great, and cocoa has one flavor. Once this bakes off, it gets this really dark, rich, fudgy sauce that goes along because of what this mixture is. And it's just a fantastic thing. Serve it with ice cream or some whipped cream. It's great. So I have an 8x8 pan here. This is not greased, this is just a dry pan, and that batter goes directly into the pan. I'm going to make sure that we get all of it out here. If you have watched my show before, I've mentioned before that my grandmother said to me that you want to scrape every last bit out of there because that last bit is another bite for somebody. And I keep saying that to anybody that I'm training or during my lessons because it's about right. And if that last bite is just for you, then it's just for you. All right, so I'm going to take my handy angled spatula again. I'm just going to make a nice smooth kind of layer here. Just pushing it off to the side. You don't have to worry too much about getting extremely even. It's just making sure that the batter is nice and covering the bottom there. Okay. The next part is that reserved dry mixture that we had. That's the brown sugar, the regular sugar, and cocoa. We're pouring that right on top. We can level that out like this, just kind of give it a little shake. And then we have about 1 1/4 to 1 1/2, really depends on how much fudge you want, of hot water. Pouring that directly on top. You don't want to do this too fast because you don't want to make like a volcano, a little hole in there. You just want to have this kind of layer on top. And that's it. No more mixing, no more anything. This goes directly into the oven, about 350 degrees. Probably take about another 25 to 35 minutes depending. It depends on your oven. If you are used to your oven and you know how fast, or if you made this before, then you kind of know how long. But I've never really exactly go by the recipe's suggested times, because that's what it is, suggested. It could be a little bit more or a little less, but we'll let you know when it's done and it comes out of the oven. So this is going in the oven right now, and we'll be right back. Okay, so while the cake is in the oven, I'm just going to go over kind of a simple garnish and some nice fresh strawberries here. You really want to save as much in there instead of just cutting off the tops. What I like to do is take a paring knife in my hand, being careful to not wrap your fingers around the blade, of course, but just take just the top 1/4 of this and put it right next to the hull and make a circle and just pop that off. That way you just have as much strawberry that's left over. I'm going to do that on a couple of these, and then on the last one we're going to do a little fan that we can have a display on the top. So these ones that the strawberries that I'm cutting out the hulls, we're just going to cut in half again, so we have little slices. These will go around the cake when it's served up in a bowl. And then on the final one, always make a little more of a decoration. We're going to keep the hull on this time for this one, a little bit of green. The other thing you could do is take this out and put in a sprig of mint, but I'd like to keep this intact because what we're going to do is make little slices all the way up to just about the top of the hull. I don't want to go all the way through, and we're just going to stop. So 1, 2, 3, and we can put some pressure on there using the hull as a little fulcrum to make a little fan to go right on top of the dessert. So we'll put this right on the top. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is some whipped cream. Now, whipped cream for something like this, we really want to have as much volume as we can. So what I like to do is freeze the bowl and the whisk that the heavy cream is going to be going into. So I'm going to pull that out. This bowl has been freezing for a good 15 minutes, and I have some heavy cream here. And I don't like having my desserts too terribly sweet. This has a lot of sugar in. So again, I'm not going to be putting any sugar in this. I could put a little bit of vanilla, but you really want the chocolate flavors to come out. So I think just a plain whipped cream on here would be good. We're going to be whipping this up probably to a medium to stiff peak, and then we can put that on top of the cake along with the strawberries. So why don't we do that right now, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're at that point where we bring somebody on to actually taste this. I don't want to be one of those chefs that tastes his own items and say, this is delicious. I want somebody else to experience, because I know what it tastes like, because I have to make this all the time. So I want to bring in Susan, good friend Susan, who I heard you like chocolate, right?
I am a chocolate snob.
Chocolate snob, all right.
I love chocolate.
Well, something to live up to here. So this is one of my childhood favorites when I was a kid. This is one of the first recipes that I made. And so this is a simple recipe where you have a batter and then a crumb topping and then hot water poured over it. But as you see, that hot water actually inverts, goes down to the bottom and makes its own sauce. Right? So how about I plate some of this up for you, and you can try it. Okay?
That sounds good.
All right. So there is a little bit of a crunch to this, and we're going to put this right in the bottom. A bowl is better for this. You can serve this in a martini glass. You could put this in a wine glass, something that you want to do in order to make this look fancy. But these little bowls are great. And a little bit of whipped cream. This is the whipped cream that we already ripped up. Do you like a lot or a little bit of whipped cream?
The more the better.
The more the better. You might get the whole thing here. All right, so we'll put this on. This is just a soft whipped cream. I didn't want to make it too stiff and have it look a little awkward. This is just a nice little cloud that goes on top. I got some fresh strawberries. I think these are from your backyard. And a fan strawberry right on top. All right, so this is a dark chocolate fudge cake. Here,
well, that looks
take a try.
Too lovely to even dip into, but okay, here I go. Get a little bit of everything.
I'll take a bigger bite than that.
Okay. All right.
So it's warm. It's like a hot fudge sundae, but without the ice cream.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah?
Oh, that is delicious. It's decadent.
Good.
It's so good, but it's not too heavy though.
Not too heavy, right. Yeah, I don't like making things that are extremely heavy, because you want to enjoy the rest of your dinner, right? And this seems to be the nice thing.
May I have another taste?
You can eat that whole thing right there. What are you talking about?
You know I will. So this was one of your first recipes?
Yeah, I was, I think 6 or 7 when my parents allowed me to go into the kitchen and just experiment. I was always in the kitchen. I like the scientific aspect of doing pastries. Everything has to be exact, precise measurements. But this one was one that was very forgiving for me, right? So I get in there, and it was just really enthralled me to see that cakes are usually a full batter, right? But here you're inverting the batter and then a crumb topping and that hot water on top, and it makes its own sauce. It astounded me how everything went from the top down to the bottom, and then making something, like you said, very decadent, right? That cocoa looked very light, but it turns into a very dark, rich, fudgy sauce by itself, and you don't need to add anything.
You did this on your own? Did you get much guidance, or?
Well, cookbooks helped. But I mean, I was just experimenting. It was this time where, you know, I'm reading recipes and trying to get through there. My parents obviously watched over me and made sure that I didn't burn down the house. But yeah, they gave me the freedom to be in the kitchen, and I really thanked them for that, because it's something that obviously flourished into a lot more. So I'm just glad that I can bring something that was from my childhood, have that nostalgia, and seeing other people like yourself try it, you know?
So I have to ask you, what are some of your favorite desserts that you've made?
Well, I like a lot of precise things. This is why it's called sweet precision. But I personally like doing anything that was very intricately designed. So pedophores, wedding cakes, any kind of chocolate designs or fondant work on top. I like doing that kind of stuff. But it has to taste good too. I don't like when you get something that's all dry and crumbly, or it just doesn't taste right. So I like experimenting with different flavors. Like this, I could see going very well with like a lavender essence whipped cream on top, or like even a rose water or something would be really nice with that. But playing around with different spices, making this into a Mexican chocolate, add a little bit of heat, maybe some cinnamon and more vanilla, it would be perfect.
And let me ask you one more question.
Yeah.
Do you have a recent favorite project that you've done?
A recent favorite project. What's that?
Or two.
Or two. I personally like some of the ones that I had to do for orders. One was a dentures cake with braces on. Like everything was edible, so I had to make each of the little braces on there. And I love, like I said, doing pedophores. Anything that's very small and intricate has a lot of detail. So I did, for a local caterer, did something, I think about 10 dozen. No, it was more than 10 dozen. It was like 500 pieces, so whatever that is in dozens. And there was 6 different flavors on there, and really got to, experiment. Another one that I really appreciated was a Latin-inspired tiramisu. So it was an almond tiramisu with a dulce de leche cream and a cafe creme with a nice little chocolate design on top too, and that was served up really nice. So yeah, that's what I like to do.
Well, this is a new favorite of mine.
Good.
I will finish all of this.
As a chocoholic or a chocolate connoisseur, this is good. I'm happy for that.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for trying it on camera. So thank you everybody as well for coming in here, watching this show. I hope that you try this at home, maybe even bring your children in with it as well. Again, I'm Benjamin Bishop, pastry chef. Make sure to like and follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Benjamin Bishop Pastry Chef, and I also have a website, benjaminbishoppastrychef.com. So until next time, we'll look forward to seeing you on Sweet Precision. Thank you.